Well, today, something slightly different. Picked up an old trailer from a pal of mine that no longer had any use for it. It's just an old unbraked trailer, probably been homemade for all I know. It had a knackered, punctured tyre, so I've managed to source one from the local scrapyard for 12 quid. So it was £10 plus £2 VAT. I think they're old Sierra wheels actually that came with it, or could be Ford Escort, I suppose, those trims. It's suitably patinaed, as they would say these days. Plenty of rust on it, and the siding was plywood. I think the trailer's probably 30-year-old or something, but I'm pretty sure he said the plywood was somewhere between 15 and 16 years old when he got it. And obviously it wasn't marine ply, so it's all kind of fallen to bits. So right now what I'm doing is I'm going to go around and I'm going to take all the bolts out that hold the boards in place. So I'm going to remove all of those, if I can get them out. They are quite rusty, but I have managed to get one out already, which is here. And it looks like it's been a nylock nut, which has probably helped. So I'll put these in some acid or vinegar or whatever, see if I can clean them up, but I'll more than likely just get more bolts. So the plan is to take some of this stuff off. See, I've done the first thing, which was replace the wheel. The old wheel is down here. Absolutely cracked and punctured. And the back end, as you see, there's plenty rust. So I'm going to scrape off the worst of it. And once I've done that, I'm just going to paint it with some black paint. Nothing too fancy, it's just a trailer to have for the occasional load. With this being an unbraked trailer, my understanding is you can have up to 750 kilograms, but I don't think I'll ever have anything as heavy as that. I might put an occasional light motorcycle or something in the back. That'd be the heaviest thing I think you could ever imagine putting in it. And it's supposedly 8x4, so you can get your sheets of plywood or plasterboard, whatever it is that you need for building. Not that I'm planning to do any building work, but this is my plan for this sunny day, and it's pretty pleasant, I have to admit. Even got my t-shirt on again. Well, rust didn't work out well for this one. Didn't take any effort whatsoever, and it's just sheared off. But I expect most of the bolts will be like that. But I'll give it my best go. That's most of it stripped away. I've still got one board to go at the back. Some of the nuts and bolts have come out quite easily. And other ones have just sheared, but I'm actually quite surprised at how easily some of them did come out. So I've taken the bottom out. It wasn't obvious before I removed it, but you can certainly see this is starting to get quite rotten. It's actually quite thin ply. I don't know if that's 10mm or something. Looks okay underneath. But it's knackered. Simple as that. So my plan is to put decking boards across to make a bed. I'll space them out, and then I would imagine I'll have to drill them in at the ends. I don't think I would use ply again. But anyway, that's something I have to think about. So this is the new tyre I got today. Well, new wheel. quite hard size to get now, 13 inches, not like the old days. But I'll see if I can get a newer one for to match this one across the other side of the axle. But it's still fine, plenty of tread on it. And once I've got all the wood cleared away, I shall see about getting some of this metal work rubbed down. Well, I'm just going around taking off some of that loose surface rust. Obviously it looks pretty crispy, but it's actually coming off okay. And then I've cleaned this down, scrubbed it with a wire brush. I've cleaned it with some alcohol, and I've put a single layer of primer on just to see what it might look like when I'm finished. So that's the primer layer on. Give it another couple of minutes. While I'm doing that, there's the yellow screwdriver. You can see quite a bit of flaky rust, but it's all solid underneath, so I'm not overly concerned about this. And again, it's not as if this is some sort of restoration, it's just simply a practical wipe over with an oily rag, for want of a better suggestion, to get the thing functioning again. But yeah, that's all coming off quite well, so I'll put that down. And then the next thing, once I've done that, give it a bit of rub with the wire brush. There's obviously more flakes I need to take off, but I'll soon get this all relatively cleaned up. Right, spray a bit of black on, see what it looks like. Well, it's now the following day. I haven't finished off all the paint work yet, and I've got some old decking boards. Somebody was throwing some away on Facebook Marketplace, so they're okay if you turn them over. I will actually reuse quite a few of these boards. They just need a pressure wash really, but as I'm not going for a restored trailer look, these ones turned upside down should be just fine. So it's roughly 8 feet by 4, so I'll also have to take into consideration the thickness of the angle iron, but I'm now going to start cutting these into roughly 8 feet lengths. I'm going to measure it with the tape measure first, just to see what the length is, and I'll try and get them in tight, or so that they're kind of bowed, and then tighten them down so that it's even stronger, the fixing for the floor. Well, that's the idea anyway. But so I've got a saw there, another one there for marking 90 degrees. I've got a tape measure somewhere, so I'm going to cut these planks into lengths that are roughly 8 feet and see if they fit in. First piece of wood cut, it was 240.5 centimetres, so let's see if that fits in along the edge there, up here, without any trouble. Looks okay. Kids having great fun across the road there. So yeah, that's the right length. So I'll see how many of these boards I can get in. Because I'm getting this wood for free, I'm not really too fussed. But that looks okay, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 9, possibly 10 boards across them. I should have calculated it, but I'm just going to go and then I'll cut off whatever I need if there's a board that needs adjusted. The last bit of the bed I've got to cut. So everyone was 2.4 centimetre. It's all gone in okay. I'm cutting them just slightly longer than they need to be, and then whacking them in and then tapping them across with that mallet. It's actually quite tight. Obviously they're going to get screwed here, and then I think there's some bolt holes there. I'll screw them in, so they'll get screwed at the edge, at the top and the bottom, and then there's all these holes down there. I'll put some self tappers into that just to hold the edges, but I'm hoping that the sides will also hold the bed down, but I think it's okay. So I now need to trim this, because sod's law, this gap is not it's not the width of a board. There's an offcut. It's just out. It's hardly anything. So I'm going to use a jigsaw, take it down. It's slightly different in the middle, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off one complete piece, and I'll cut it from the other side. I know that's probably going to be more than necessary, but I don't want to cut it twice. So that's the bit I've got to adjust. Let's see how I get on. I've measured it. This is the narrowest part here, which is roughly 110, as you can see. But up here, it's about 120mm. I'm sure I could cut it, but I mean, I'm not wanting to make things more complicated than they already are. And again, this is just a trailer for, occasional use. It's not a showpiece. So it's basically 110 there, 120mm there, and 120mm here. I don't know if that's because of the wood, but anyway, I'll cut it at 110. Let's see what the actual board width is. As you can see, it would have worked, but I've got to go to the 11. So if it had just been 120, it'd have been perfect. But this bit in the middle is 110, so I'm snookered. To be honest, that seemed to take forever. But anyway, it's trimmed off. It's certainly not going to be perfect, but it's going to be hidden anyway. So I've got the decent edge here, and then this raggedy edge will be hidden. Oh, that's the plan anyway. Well, that's a complete bed done. I need to get the brush, sweep it out. So I had a double complication with this. It was slightly too long, so I had to trim a few millimeters off, and then obviously it had to have a good, 10 mil taken off the width. But theoretically, it was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It was 10 boards. But well, there's theory versus reality. But it'll be fine, I think. Famous last words. Well, this morning it's nice and windy, and I'm starting to put the sideboards on now. I'm just going to have two pieces. I'll have a piece there and a piece at the top, There's some poles there that I can put some screws into. And then at the back I've got obviously one board, and then I'll adjust it to be in line with wherever the board comes to on the sides. So it's not going too badly. Haven't run into any snags as such. I still need to touch up the paint. I've ordered a couple of rear light units for the white trailer board that came with the trailer, which the inside connections basically fell to bits, they were corroded. So I've got a couple of lights coming from eBay, and they were $5.99. I'll put a link to the product in the description. Well, that's the front put in. I would have made it solid, but I just want to try and reduce the weight as much as possible. So the next thing is to put this section in, and hopefully that matches up with the front piece there. And then, as I say, once I get this piece in, I will adjust the back ramp. Well, that's every board in, apart from the last one, which I was waiting to see how it lined up. So I've obviously got to bring it in line with roughly here to make it the same. Originally I just thought I'd put it up underneath the angle iron, but no, I think that looks not too bad. So I put the mud guards back on. The thing still needs a good jet wash, and then I still need to touch up quite a bit of the paint. But it's taken a pile of crap basically and made it into something fairly usable. Well, that's it rough and ready at the moment. I've still got to pressure wash the wood. So it looks like at the back. As I say, I've got to get all this outer edge pressure washed, and I'll pressure wash the bed. You can see the inner part there, it's all need pressure washed as well. So I'm touching up with the paint down there, but at least it's usable now. And my next plan is to fix the tailboard, the lighting board. Well, this is my moderately refurbished functional trailer. It's just been pressure washed, so that wood there basically looked like that wood here. So I've just spent the last half hour or so going over it with a pressure washer, getting it cleaned up. I still need to touch up some of the paint, and the last thing is I've got two rear lights coming. I need to fit them, but everything else seems to be okay. That wheel's cleaned up not badly. I think it was more a case of taking the top coat off. That made it look a bit cleaner. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. I still need to look into maybe securing the bed down more, but it's not loose, it's absolutely solid in there. But I'm thinking about getting some coach bolts and then just put some up, certainly along the ends, on the edges of it. But apart from that, it seems to do the job. I took it out for a test drive yesterday. I filled it up with a variety of small bits of wood, lots of them. You can see some of them there as well. But yeah, for a free trailer and free decking boards, a bit of work. What else have I spent? I spent 12 quid on the spare wheel and the tyre from the local scrapyard. I've ordered the two rear lights, which was £5.99. Oh, and I've ordered a number plate, which I think is just under £9, £8.50 or something like that. So I don't think it's too bad for a usable 8-foot by 4-foot trailer. So that's the trailer part done. The next thing will be simply to finish off the whiteboard.